What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we get to talk about the fun topic of duckweed. Yeah, the herpes of the fish tank world. If you get it, good luck getting rid of it. And some people want it, some people don't want it. Those that have had experience with it have their opinions about it. Me, I've got it. I tried selling it at one point. Wasn't worth it. Now that I have it, I can't get rid of it. So I'm making the best of what I've got. Duckweed has benefits. It helps keep the ammonia down. It helps keep the nitrates down. It's a plant. It helps filter the water. It grows really easily. It doesn't die unless you have current on the water. If you have surface current, duckweed won't live. If you have very little current, duckweed will grow until it stops the current, and then it'll just take over. It's a weed. Ducks drop in one pond, go to the next pond, boom, that pond is now infested. Well, fish tanks, you take a net, you put a net in there, you scoop out, you get one little petal that goes into the next fish tank, and bang, all of a sudden that tank is exploded with duckweed also. And then you're fighting to get rid of it. You want to get rid of it? Like I said, put some kind of surface current on the water, and the duckweed will die off and it'll go away. The fish will eat it, it'll biodegrade, and it'll go away. So surface agitation and keeping the surface moving will kill off the duckweed. Hang on the back filters with the waterfall will knock the duckweed down, it'll get into the pickup, and it'll eventually go away also that way. So those are a couple of ways to get rid of duckweed aside from manually scooping them out. If you have shrimp tanks and stuff with sponge filters like I have, then you just deal with the duckweed. The shrimp like the duckweed. They grow into duckweed. They're always in there picking at it and everything. Little bitty bitties. When I scoop out the duckweed out of my tanks, I worry about how many hundreds of babies I just scooped out at the same time. Being a breeder, you really don't want to do that kind of stuff. So I kind of let the tanks just kind of go with the duckweed until they really hurt the light, and then I scoop the duckweed off and move it over to another tank, let it settle. I'll just disturb the duckweed so that the babies and shrimp all go to the bottom, and then I'll scoop it out and feed it to the koi. Goldfish will eat it, koi will eat it. There are some fish that will eat it. So another thing is, if you have duckweed and you want to get rid of it and you're not worried about these fish eating anything else you have in the tank, then you can get fish that will eat duckweed. As for alternatives to duckweed for floating plants, some neat ones that I ran across doing some research: hornwort. I really like hornwort. You give it some light, it grows, you let it float on top, it makes a nice nest, it's fluffy, it's kind of like an evergreen tree in your aquarium. It's really kind of neat. If you want, you can stick it in the ground, it'll grow up out of the ground also. So it can be a floater, it can be a rooted plant. Now, being here in Florida, hornwort and another invasive species called hydrilla, which is similar to hornwort, but it's got petals instead of the little leaf, the little needles. It grows like a weed also, and does really good as a floater or a rooted plant in your tanks, and it's real easy to clean up. Now, some of these tanks, you can definitely see how the light is being blocked, but yet the hydrilla is still growing pretty good, and so is the Java moss. Another one is floating water sprite. I've heard it's kind of hard to get, but if you can get your hands on it, it's not hard to grow, and it clumps. So if it starts to take over, you take the clumps out and you can move them to another tank, or you can just throw them out. Either way, put it in the garden. But either way, it's real easy to clean up. Unlike duckweed, you get these bitty little things. They're hard to take out. You leave one, you've got a million the next day. Not literally, but it seems like it. I also looked into red root floaters. Those are kind of neat. They can be really pretty if you can get them under some high intensity lights, because they'll actually red out. The leaves will. They don't have really long roots, which is not beneficial for the fish. The roots won't break off like some other long root floaters, but at the same time, it's kind of like duckweed. It's just bigger and requires more light. Amazon frogbit is another one that I looked into. I'm not really impressed with what it does. I've seen people having a hard time with it growing. It doesn't grow as big for some people as it does for others. It's not easy to grow. And again, it's kind of like duckweed. It's just a little bit different. You want to stay away from the duckweed style plants, in my opinion. Yes, I have it. Yes, I would like to get rid of it. No, I'm not putting a lot of effort into getting rid of it because of the benefits that it has. I'm not personally a really big advocate on planted tanks because I don't have the time or the patience to turn around and put a lot of effort into an absolutely gorgeous tank. Yes, that's just plants thrown in there. They're not planted. It's a handful of plants thrown in there. It's grown. I leave it alone, do water changes, the plants grow, they got the lights. I love looking at all y'all's planted tanks with the aquascapes and all that stuff. I personally, as a breeder, I'm ripping through these things way too often to have a stationary, specific planted tanks. So, you guys with your absolutely gorgeous aquascapes tanks with the different kinds of plants and rocks and hardscapes and softscapes and all that, they're absolutely amazing. I love them. I personally, I can't do it. I'll stick with the fluorescent bottoms and the black light stuff and the semi-natural looking, easy to take care of tanks. That's just what I've got time for. Duckweed, if you got it, I'm sorry. If you got it and you're happy with it, awesome. If you're not happy with it, throw something that's going to screw up the surface water and make it spin, make it churn, do something. That way the duckweed doesn't sit stagnant and it doesn't have a chance to grow. The two main types of plants that I have in my tanks are guppy grass and Java moss. The big clumps and everything are mostly Java moss. That stuff grows amazingly and the fish love it. If you're looking for something that's easy to grow and looks really neat, either one. Guppy grass, it's a little bit harder to grow than the Java moss. Java moss, it's awesome. It's a big weed, it's hard to kill, and you give it a little bit of light and it'll grow like crazy. All the fish love it, and other than that, I really appreciate y'all for clicking on the clip. If you made it all the way to the end, don't forget, hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed. Throw a like in there. They really help out pushing the videos to more people. Comments, they also help push the videos to more people, and I love interacting with you guys. Some of you people have some severely knowledgeable brains in there with your experience is just beyond anything I can comprehend, and I'm just a simple mechanic fabricator that breeds fish and plays music and messes with slot cars and trains. So on my own little level, I enjoy the breeding aspect of it, and I enjoy the community. Y'all have a great day. Thank you once again, and I'll see you in the next video.